Of Pope Leo XIV was seen by millions of Catholics from around the world.
And joining us now is Michele Bowe, who is the ambassador of the Order of Malta to Palestine. Michele, thank you so much for chatting with us. If you can hear us okay, and just that reaction, your reaction to Pope Leo's introduction.
What a huge celebration to have a pope, an American pope, but also a pope from the Americas. Just a new era, I think, that we're entering in the church after this Easter when we had so many confirmations and baptisms of adults across the country. And I think that we are looking at a new focus for the church, a wider focus beyond Europe through the rest of the continents where we have so many faithful.
Now, we were waiting to know who would be chosen. And then the second thing, what name would he pick? What's the significance of him choosing the name Leo? Can you hear us?
I see him as a Latin and the vulnerable, the poor and the forgotten, and those without a voice. In February, he was made a member of the Order of Malta, given the Grand Cross Bailiff of Honor and Devotion, an order which is dedicated to serving the sick and the poor. And I think that's what we're going to see from this papacy. We're going to see a missionary church who remembers the forgotten.
And Michele, you mentioned, that this is historic and that this is the first time there's been an American pope in the history of the papacy. Expand on what that means, the significance of that, what it means for Catholics and Catholicism, not just all over the world, but here in the U.S.
I think it's just a wonderful step forward to remember the not just the American church, which is so faithful and growing by the day, but really the Church of the Americas. When we look at North, Central, and South America, we have such a long history and a huge number of Catholics. The church is alive and growing, and it is a new look for the papacy, for the Holy See, to have a different focus on the Americas rather than the traditional Italian and European view.
Now, Michele, while there are 1.4 billion Catholics in the world, there are many people, some of our viewers, who are not Catholic. What is the significance of this Pope, and what can we expect as a whole to see from him?
I think everyone in the world can get behind this Pope. We need this voice of a lion to talk back to some of the things that we're seeing in this world. We need to get behind a Pope who will be caring for the poor and the forgotten from a missionary church. In a world of turbulence and conflict, we indeed need a lion to remind us of our basic human responsibility to care for the sick and the poor with the voice of reason, to be open and inclusive. I think this is a point of inflection for the church. And we remember that as Holy Father, as the Pope, he's not just the head of a church, a religious organization, but he's also a head of state. And this head of state has such a responsibility and a voice to speak to other world leaders, to come together and remember the human family and caring for those in areas of conflict and trying to bring ourselves together to look out for those without a voice.
Michele Bowe, ambassador of the Order of Malta to Palestine. Michele, thank you so much for joining us here on 7 News at 4 o'clock.